Hey there, it's Stephanie Shea, Chief Astrologer for janspiller.com with your astrological overview for May 2023. Now, this month, there's a lot of astrological energy that I think will make us feel kind of restless, maybe ready for sort of a radical change. But unfortunately, we still need to work with the past before we can move forward. So I think there's going to be a push-pull energy that can create tumultuous events, maybe in the news and in our personal lives. We're going to realize it's not the best month to get everything solved. Maybe things are getting stirred up so that we can see them more clearly and know what needs to be addressed, but some patience will definitely need to be used because we're still in a Mercury retrograde cycle through May 14th. And so really, we're going to have to wait till the second half of the month to feel that we're able to get a lot of the new things started that we're feeling so strongly need to change, right? So there's a lunar eclipse this month on May the 5th. We've got Jupiter moving from Aries to Taurus. And again, we've got that Mercury going direct. So things will feel very different by the time we get to the end of the month than they do at the beginning. I think with lunar eclipses, everybody can feel that emotional energy ramping up, especially this one. It's a lunar eclipse at 14 degrees of Scorpio. Scorpio is one of the more intense water signs of the zodiac, and it's all about revealing what's been hidden. So there can be sort of a dramatic effect around these types of eclipses. Again, on the world stage, we could see something revealed. Maybe there's public knowledge. There could be about environmental issues. You know, when I think of Scorpio, I sort of think scandal, like somebody's been polluting and covering it up, or something financial, because again, the moon is opposing the sun in Taurus, Taurus ruling the earth, finances. Scorpio also rules sex. Sometimes sex scandals are revealed during a full moon or especially lunar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio. So these are all things we may see in the headlines in our personal lives. I think we'll experience this eclipse as a type of a psychological breakthrough. So anything we've kept hidden from ourselves, or maybe that other people have been hiding, is going to become more apparent. And I think intimate partnerships could be a big focus for people who are involved in one. The moment of truth that we probably face around this eclipse is going to help us to make better decisions for ourselves in the future. And just remember, Mercury is retrograde at the time of this eclipse. So it's going to be best to take note of the realizations, the things you discover, the things you notice, feel, intuit in your body. Intuition will be strong around this time. Take note of all that and plan to take a definitive action towards the end of the month once we get through this Mercury retrograde. That's my tip for the lunar eclipse. Now, on May the 16th, we've got Jupiter entering the sign of Taurus, and it's going to stay in the sign the whole rest of the year. So we've been experiencing so far this year Jupiter in Aries, which is all about bigger, better, faster. I think it's been a great jumpstart to the year, especially back in March and April when we started getting into Aries season and we had 2 Aries new moons plus Jupiter in Aries. That's a lot. That's, you know, I am in Aries and that's a lot of Aries. So I am welcoming Jupiter in Taurus because it's going to help us slow our pace and shift our focus to sustaining our efforts. You know, we kind of need both things. We do need the initiation, that fire that Aries provides. And Taurus is a lovely follow-up because we want to be able to finish what we started, right? And so this, I think with Jupiter entering Taurus, we're going to feel this collective Deep breath. Let's assess our progress. And remember, Mercury is going to be direct on the day Jupiter moves into Taurus, but just barely. It goes direct the 14th. Jupiter's into Taurus on the 16th. So it's still what we would call the shadow phase of the last Mercury retrograde cycle, which calls for slow and steady, just like Jupiter in Taurus would. So any attempts to rush progress this month are just going to really hit a brick wall. Now, if you take the long game approach and you're willing to persevere through challenges or delays, you can get a big reward from Jupiter in Taurus as we move through the rest of the year. This is a great time for financial planning. Anybody looking to build their reserves and work towards financial stability is going to get a boost from Jupiter. Our values can become more apparent under this astrology, and we're more likely to pursue a path that feels meaningful. So this slower pace is really good. I think it's going to help us see opportunities that might not have been visible to us while Jupiter was in Aries because we're moving too quickly to notice them. So I like that analogy. You know, if you're driving and you're driving fast, you might not see all the road signs and the things that are available to you. Slow down, you get in the Jupiter in Taurus car, and suddenly you find a turnoff that looks appealing. So that's what's going on with Jupiter. As I mentioned, Mercury is going to station direct. And so the first half of May, just keep doing what you're doing, attend to unfinished business. And then, you know, after May 14th, you can slowly get started with some new endeavors. And slow is the key word. Still double check the details of new plans and make sure that you and others are on the same page if you're collaborating. Now, if we take this methodical approach to like our projects and our plans, we're going to feel very successful under this astrology. So consider what you'd like to accomplish in the coming months while Mercury will be direct. And we're going to get this extra boost on May 19th when we get that new moon in Taurus. I'll tell you about that in a minute on this video. So it's gonna be a good time to make some new connections as long as you take this relaxed approach. You know, nobody's gonna really be in the mood to be rushed, even though we might feel this impatience. Even if we're impatient, it still won't feel right to rush. That's why I say there's this tension in the air, and to really ease into the side of going with the flow of the things that are happening in the moment and not trying to force things. Now, Venus is going to enter Cancer on May the 7th, and that really sets a nice tone for some loving interactions. I think this also is really good for us to take the time for self-care activities, offering us ourselves, you know, the same self-love that we give to others. We can use this Venus in Cancer time to tune into the emotional energies around us and offer our gifts accordingly. If we feel somebody might just need a hug, or, you know, home cooked meal, or just a nice compassionate ear, these are all things that will really feel extra fulfilling during this Venus in Cancer time. I think we're probably going to want to spend a little bit more time at home under this astrology. It's a really good month for home improvement projects or adding cozy decorative touches to your living space. And again, just keeping that Mercury retrograde in mind if you actually are making a big decision about your living situation. The end of the month is more favorable to initiate those changes. Now, Mars will be in Cancer much of the month, and it doesn't express great in this sign. The emotional nature of Cancer can lead to hot-headed, impulsive actions that we might later regret. I was talking a little bit about this in the April video, because Mars has been in Cancer since then. And so it's going to be wise to build in some time for reflection before reacting, especially if it feels like an emotionally charged situation. And if you put it all together, like, ooh, and Mercury's going to be retrograde half the month, you know, it's really good to keep your perspective, because there could be some misunderstandings. However, I do think it could be a nice time to reconnect with family members in a positive way and kind of do some activities that make you feel nostalgic. That reminds me of Mars and Cancer. Now, on the 20th, Mars will enter Leo, and that's going to shift the energy a lot to more upbeat, fun-loving energy. The end of the month could be a great time for creative ventures, and I think everyone will be feeling a bit more confident. We'll be out of that retrograde and thinking ahead to kind of some bold moves we might want to make. Mars in Leo is going to support presentations and performances, and we'll need to be mindful that we're taking other people into consideration under this energy, because I think there's so much enthusiasm and people feeling very passionately about what it is they're about to do, that we could all be prone to accidentally overstepping our bounds. Oh, we're so excited, and in your haste, bumping into somebody, that's very literal, but it could be something physical like that with the sign of Mars, literally stepping on someone's toes, or metaphorically, oh, I'm going to go ahead and do that, and not realizing there was somebody else interested in participating or taking charge of that. So these are things to watch out for. As I mentioned, we've got this lovely Taurus new moon on May the 19th. And this is a great new moon to set intentions that have things to do with Taurus, right? Among other areas, Taurus holds dominion over patience, perseverance, loyalty. This is a good one. Releasing stubbornness. We could all use that. It's also great for setting intentions about money, possessions, physical comfort. So this is a big one because we're finally getting a new moon that's not, involved with Mercury retrograde. It's a great follow-up new moon to that Aries solar eclipse that we had on April 20th, where you probably set some big picture goals, but you couldn't really get started right away because Mercury went retrograde the next day. Well, now you can look back at what you wrote down, see which ones you really want to continue with, maybe add some new ones, and know that you are fully supported to move ahead with your plans right after this new moon. So I think we will feel a little release in that sense, even though there's some tension this month. By the time we get to the end of the month, that's what I was saying, it'll feel probably quite different than the beginning of the month, and we'll be done with eclipse season until we hit the fall. So that'll be another kind of release, and we moving towards maybe some more productive, slightly smoother sailing months than they have been the past couple. So we have that to look forward to. I hope you can make the most of all of May's astrology. I will see you here soon with your June astrological overview.